Hey guys, did some upgrades to the tutorials, trying to make it better for you, the viewer, so I made it easier to see who you are talking to and trying to get a lot more close-ups of the videos that I'm doing so you can see details of exactly what it is I'm doing in each video. As you can see, you can now see my tools that I use. This is my tablet and I use that a lot for filming. You can see probably part of my sketch pad, of course, and the chair behind me. Go figure. Also, it's good because now it's almost like talking to an actual person rather than looking at a screen. Okay, so here's what you're going to need for the tutorial. Since we are drawing roses, you can either use a red color pencil or a red, this one's a gel pen. You can use anything bright enough that's red that can really help you out. You're going to need black and yellow and orange. Those colors will help you out in the future for this tutorial. Oh, and for this one, we're going to need that black Copic pencil to work wonders on what we're doing. Also, you might want to get yourself a white blender for this one. I believe I use that a lot in this one. We're drawing, we're going to start off with some red roses and then go directly into a burning roses, which have a lot of different colors and textures into it. Okay, so we'll do a refresher just so you know exactly what I'm doing for the image. Is I'm starting off with each petal from the inside, one petal at a time, and then working my way from the inside out. Once I get to the outside, I start over again from the inside with a darker color. This one's going to be a bright red since it's roses, red roses. And then once I get into that darker color, I want to add lift to the roses. So right glazing across the upper part of the rose, I'm using a white blender to then make it almost like you can see the curve of the rose. You can do that trick with a lot of different things. It doesn't have to be a white blender. You'll just have to find what works for you on it. If you're a little stuck on how to exactly draw a rose, you can find a lot of references online. This one I happen to find, it's a common rose that's used in a lot of images. So, or you can go out and get your own camera and walk down the street. If you have a place that sells roses, get a quick shot of it, or you can visit a garden. You know, they have gardens at a lot of places. You could just get a few shots of roses in different ways, and that helps out too. So you don't have to worry much about not having a rose. They're there. Google search, any type of engine like that works out wonders. Alright, for this video, let's see what I'm doing. I'm going around gently around those guns that I had drew for one of my previous sketches, and I'm fitting them in with the red roses. I have to go dark on those red roses because the type of lighting I'm preparing for in the background for the rest of the image is impacting on what happens to those roses. So I have to get really technical on what I do. I just can't draw out the roses and put black or lights in it. I have to say, okay, in the background, that image has a different color. So what color mix would happen if I use it on the rose itself? Sometimes it could turn it yellow, purple, or any other color for that matter. So I have to be extremely careful what colors I choose. Okay, so as you can see, I've upgraded a lot of the stuff that you can see. You can now see my websites, and I'm going to add a lot of tips that you can get on the sidelines so that while you're watching my videos, you'll also get some helpful tips that I might not mention during these tutorials. So take the time out to check out everything that happens during the video, and don't forget to subscribe as well. Alright, let's get into the burning roses, which was what we are waiting for. What I do for the burning roses is, yes, I have it pre-sketched out. I don't want to make a mistake, so it's good to pre-sketch your pieces out. And then what I'm doing is I'm doing one petal at a time once again, but in this case I have to pull out the black marker. So I'm going into the details with the black marker on one petal at a time. I'm also doing a trick where I am going with yellow and orange to add in those colors of element of where it's going to be flames and burning. So I have to put the hottest part of the roses first. So I'm going over it in yellow and then touching it up in orange, and then just doing clashes of red across that, just to make sure that it has that transition from bright burn to a darker burn. And then each petal, after I go over it in black, I'm going over the petal. I have to make it sure you can see the petal. So I'm using a white blender to go on top of that, and it's white so it trades off and it looks a little dusty. I don't want it to look totally like I'm lighting it. I actually want it to look almost like ash, like the roses were on fire and you put them out, or they're just that little spark is happening on top of it. So as I glaze it over, only certain parts I'm going heavier on it with the white blender. That way you can see highlights as well. And I'm continuously doing that to each petal slowly as I can, just to make sure I'm not making any mistakes. Then I have to add in the reflection of what's going on in the back. What's going on in the back is there's open flames in the back of these roses. So what I have to do is make sure that on certain parts of the rose you can see curving of the light source from the flames. That way it's just shooting across it, and basically now you have the effect from lights and the reflections of the lights. And as I go to the bigger roses, I have to start adding in heavier amounts of that light so that you can see the burns from those lights into the roses, and it'll look amazing, like if that rose was literally on fire. I also wanted to make sure that I added a few spots where the rose may have been getting burned through, so that way while it's getting burned through you can see holes made by the ashes of the fire. I also have to be careful because I'm going around the guns in the pick, and believe it or not, the guns become reflective too, which is going to be in my next tutorial. I'll cover the guns of the image, that way you can see how those was done as well. And hopefully these tips will do you some good. In the video you can see me taking it slow, coloring it in. It was a large piece. The piece was 14 by 17. Each rose had to have been at least maybe 5 inches wide per rose. Well, the smaller ones of course are going into 3 inches or so, but no big deal. The things you have to worry about in this is not getting the right color pencils that'll be able to cover the black when you put it in. You don't have to use a black marker. You can probably use a black color pencil and it'll do the same job. The only thing is when you do that, you can't press too hard on it, or you have to put the other layer on first. So if you're gonna do that, start off with a red and then put the black and darken it, instead of putting black and then lightening it with red. Hey guys, just wanted to take the time out to thank you for tuning in, and hopefully all these tutorials are paying off and you guys are